Hi, and welcome to another episode of Can't Stop the Growth. I'm your host, Chad Peterman, and today we are going to talk about the all-important goal setting. I will dive into how to set goals, what's a habit goal versus what's a result goal, how habit goals can ultimately help you achieve result goals, and how winning today is ultimately going to help you achieve long-term goals. So to explain that and to dive a little bit deeper into this subject, I've got some audio from a Future Leaders Series meeting here at our company, Peterman Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, that we recorded a couple of weeks back on how to set goals and the proper steps to put in place to ensure your success. And so I want to jump right into that, and hopefully you'll learn something from it.
I saw an interesting stat that said that 92% of people never achieve their goal. So that's quite staggering there. But I really think in my research and understanding of goal setting and then achievement is that it really comes down to how goals are set and what is actually considered the goal that is focused on. And what I mean by that is, if you think about a goal, if you set it out there and say, by the end of the year or by the end of, 6 months or in 3 months or whatever it is, there's always a lot of anxiety around that particular goal. I want to do that. Well, that sounds kind of, depending on how ambitious you are, that sounds pretty big. I'm not sure, I guess we'll give it a shot. It's kind of like, it's almost like it's nice just to say it. And in the back of your mind that I don't really have a plan to get there. I'm just going to kind of set it. And I think that's where you've got to split your goals up into what's known as result goals and habit goals. Now, when you split these, I feel like you gain, I was listening to a podcast the other day, the One Thing podcast. It's related to a book, The One Thing by Gary Keller. And in the podcast, they point out that, the three things, regardless of how people set goals, all the different strategies, different stuff like that, even if you understand the difference between result and habit, the three things that people feel like they lack are clarity, control, and community. Clarity because they're not even sure really what they're shooting at. And I think that really hits on results versus habit. What is it that big goal is? What's it going to do for you? Is there any meaning behind it? How are you going to get there? They really have no clear path. So, on day one, they may make a positive step towards that, but that wanes pretty quickly when you have no plan on how to get there. The other thing is control. All these things are out of my control, or, I wasn't expecting this to happen, so now I can't get there, so that's a pretty reasonable excuse for me not achieving the goal. There's so many things that, I can't figure that out, or I didn't realize that would be this difficult. And then really the community. So all the distractions that come up that lead us astray from what it is that we're zeroing in on. And I think we can all point to goals that we've set that are far from achieved and die within the first day or so. I've had those. Oh God, it's really cool to say that. I'm all jacked up and we're going to accomplish all this stuff. And day 2 comes around like, well, maybe not. Or I don't know, that's a lot of work type thing. And so with these three things that are, that kind of get in our way, a lack of clarity, a perceived lack of control, and then a community that doesn't support, or environment that doesn't support us achieving these goals, it's very easy to get sidetracked. And in the research that I've done, the reading that I've done, and really in real life things that I've done, is when you break up your goals into, like I said, habit and result, and understand the difference, then things become clear. Goals become easier to achieve, because ultimately a goal is achieved one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, broken down into the smallest units of measure. And so when you start to look at a result goal is something far out there in the future that you're going to set. So what is my result? I'm going to lose 30 pounds. I'm going to, achieve this particular task. Whatever it is, that's a result goal. It's out there in the future. The habit goal is what you can do today. What are the habits that I need to form in order to achieve that results goal? Now, when I talk about habits, if weight loss is always, it seems like the common one. I'm going to lose all this weight. Well, you say it, and then you go about your day as normal, just kind of moseying on through life. May go work out here or there, may eat a better meal than I would have in the past. There's really no plan. It's just kind of a hope. Like, I hope that I get there. Whereas when you look at these habit goals, what can I do today? Well, I could wake up and eat breakfast. Okay, well, if it's a habit goal, I'm going to wake up and eat breakfast. I'm going to win that goal. That's my goal today. I'm going to go to bed at 9. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to reach that goal tomorrow. I'm going to wake up and eat breakfast. Well, if you string enough of those together, you're going to be moving in the right direction towards losing that weight that you wanted to lose. Another habit goal that I'm going to stack on there is I'm going to go and be active for 30 minutes. And it's going to be at 5 o'clock. So every day at 5 o'clock, I'm going to go be active for 30 minutes. Well, there again, you can win that goal. That is a choice that you have. And thus is the main difference between a habit and a result goal. Is a habit goal you have the choice to achieve. A result goal, you kind of got a choice, but that's like there's a lot of stuff that can get in the way. You have a choice tomorrow to wake up and have breakfast and go be active for 30 minutes, if that's what your goal is. And whatever other habits you need to develop. You see, we have the greatest example of this, and we are watching this actually transpire here at our own shop. Because at the beginning of the year, when we decided to roll out these contests in the service department, Alan and I got to talking, and we said, you know what we need? We've ran these contests before. None of them ever worked. Ever. Well, what's the deal? Why is it not working? Well, we had always set a result goal. Hey guys, we need to sell this many UV lights. Hey guys, let's sell this many water heaters. What was that? It was a result goal. How many are you going to sell by the end of 2 months? Well, what'd those guys do? They looked at the goal every 2 months. They went about their day. And if they sold one, wonderful. If they didn't, well, what do you think happened? Excuse. Customer didn't want to buy. Didn't have the right call. Was on a commercial job. They didn't have you can think of the endless things that you come up with of why you didn't hit that result goal, and then you say, oh, I never got there. So what we did, and I think why we're seeing success, is we put a habit goal in there. What was the habit goal? They got to give so many estimates. You got to talk about it. Well, they have the choice on every single call they go on to talk about it. Is every customer going to buy? Absolutely not. Do I expect them? No. If they did, that wouldn't be good anyway. But the simple habit of talking about it, what we've seen in the past 26 days is they've sold more of those. Nothing has changed. We've ran the same contest before, like months prior. We sold not many. And by not many, I mean close to zero. This month, they've done probably what they sold in 6 months last year, in 26 days. Why is that? It's my belief. It's because they have a habit goal. When your habit goal involves you being able to make a choice of if you're going to do it or not, results happen. What are your habit goals? Tie them to a result goal, and you're going to see success. Because it's all about choice. Even with the result goal, you have the choice, but what are the action items that are going to get you to that result? Learn from our service guys. They don't know it, but every contest going forward will have a habit goal, if not multiple habit goals. And the other side benefit of that is creating habits creates momentum. Think about the habits that you have now. How was that created? You did it Monday, you did it Tuesday, then Wednesday, then Thursday, then Friday, then you start to do it without thinking. There was a long time into last year, I never ate breakfast. Just never ate it, just came to work, whatever. Then I started. Now I wake up religiously and just, I can like almost make it with my eyes closed, but that would be dangerous because the stove's involved. But literally you just go through it and it becomes a habit. They say it's like around different things that you're trying to accomplish take different amounts of days, but they say a normal habit to make a action a habit takes about 66 days to create. Now some longer than others, depending on what it is, but about 66 days. If you can do that for 66 days in a row, it will become a habit. So what I urge you to do is when you have a result goal, it's not that result goals are bad. I've got a lot of result goals, but it's about how many habits do I need to tie to that result goal in order for me to be successful. Because I know that on a daily basis, I can choose yes or no. I'm going to do it or I'm not. I didn't do it or I'm not. And what that also allows you to do is create confidence. Hey, I've hit my goal 4 days in a row. Cool. All right, let's go for 5. I can do this. It also gives you the confidence that if you do fall off the wagon and shoot, I didn't get that done yesterday, but by God, I'm going to win today. I'm going to get it done today. Well, then you're right back on the wagon. Whereas you go a week and you have no plan whatsoever, it's like, well, I said I was going to do that out there in the future, but things aren't looking so good, so I'm going to hope no one heard me say that because I don't think that's going to get done. I was listening to an interview with a lady named Amy Purdy. I don't know if you guys remember her. She was on Dancing with the Stars. She was a lady. She had 2 prosthetic legs, and she was on Dancing with the Stars. So she's competed in the Paralympics. She's written books. She's done all this stuff. But she was, I believe her story is, and don't quote me on the details of this, but she was diagnosed with something at age 19 and lost both her legs at 19. So you can obviously imagine something that traumatic would kind of make you second guess what you're doing. Are goals even worth accomplishing? It's kind of a major setback. And she talks about habit goals And when we don't embrace habit goals, it gives us the perception that we have time to achieve that result goal. When really, what's that called? Procrastinating. Oh, well, I said by the end of June, let's make it the end of July. Oh, let's make it the end of August. There again, when we have habit goals, there's a sense of urgency built in. When I gotta win tomorrow, or I gotta win today, and then I gotta win tomorrow, and then the next day, and then the next day. And ultimately, it will drag you along to that result goal. They tie us down to action. I think that's the hardest part, right? It's easy to say a goal. It's easy to write one down. It's easy to tell your buddy, hey, I'm going to get this done. The hard part is the action part. That's why you made it a goal in the first place, because you weren't doing the action prior. So it's going to be a change in things. But it all comes back to, much like we talked about at the company meeting, what are you going to do today? It's one day at a time. One day at a time. Visualize what is going to happen. What does a successful day look like? How am I going to build that momentum to carry me to where I want to go? We're going to do it one day at a time. It's a lot easier to win one day at a time than win the next 3 months tomorrow. It's not going to happen. Or if you can, that's pretty impressive, but I'm going to bet against you in that situation. It's going to take time. You're going to have to build on the actions that you did yesterday and build on it for today. There's the quote out there, consistency breeds results. Well, that's habit goals. Consistently doing the actions that are going to take you to where you want to be. And it becomes a priority in your life. What are my priorities? Well, those should be attached to what my goals are. Your priority is not 3 months from now. It can't be. But your priority is today. So when you're thinking about it, if your result goal is out there in the future, you've tied it to your habit goals, and you believe strongly enough in that result goal, guess what's going to happen? Your life is going to surround what your habit goals are. And I encourage you to do that. If your goal, we keep using weight loss just because that's a common example, but if that is your goal, if that is your result goal, and you identify at least one of your habits is, I need to exercise for 30 minutes a day. Well, when you go to plan out your week, by God, come hell or high water, this is the 30 minutes that I am working out on Monday. This is Tuesday, this is Wednesday, this is Thursday, this is Friday. This is what it looks like, and I'm not moving. Plan the rest of your day around it. Because that's truly what's important. And if you don't make it important, it's not really a goal. It's just something that, if I want to do it, that'd be great, but if I don't, it's no big deal. But if you want to get things done in life, you've got to set those result goals and then understand what the habits are, make them a priority, and then move towards them one day at a time. I think this is where, I've seen a breakthrough. I shared that quote with you guys at the company meeting that I put as my screensaver. Someone told me the definition of hell. On your last day on earth, the person you became will meet the person you could have become. To me, that's a lot like goals. The person I could have become is that person who set all those goals. The person I became is really going to be the difference between where I am now and how close I get to all those goals I set. But it starts one day at a time. So when I view things, okay, today, how do I become more of the person I want to become, as opposed to that person that I have became if I don't get there? Where do I want to be? Who do I want to become? And I think that is truly where the power in lies of, the statement of we can do whatever we want. It's possible if you put the work in. There again, if you set the goals, if you win each day, you can do whatever you want to do. There's no limit to anything. But you have to be willing to break it down step by step if you want to get there. And I think the biggest key is that momentum factor, because in my mind, goal setting and understanding what your habit goals have to be, it starts to compound. So think about it this way. If I've got a big result goal out there, I've got my, maybe 3 habit goals that I think are going to take me to that result. Well, when I want to set another goal out there, and I've already got 3 habits that I know that I'm doing. I got those knocked out. It's been 2 weeks, and I'm just churning along and getting those done. It becomes a lot easier to add other ones, because there again, you have the confidence that you can do it. Shifting a habit from I don't do this to I'm going to do this tomorrow. Well, that becomes a lot easier when you look at it in the sense of, well, I've already done 3 of them. What's a 4th? Or what's a new goal out there, and I'm going to win. I'm going to win today. So I urge you to there again compartmentalize each day. Compartmentalize what the issue is, what the goal is, and how you're going to get there. It literally is one step at a time. And if you make it a priority, if you understand what that goal is going to do for you, how you're going to be different as a result, that's where the connection is too. How am I going to be different because of these habits? What's life going to look like? What's life going to look like when I accomplish these goals? The true measure of a goal is, okay, if you reach it, great, but it's really about how you got there, And when you look at it day by day and you stack those on top of each other, there's something to be proud of. Not, I finally reached it. It's that I won 66 consecutive days in a row. Or I didn't win them all in a row, but by God, when I fell off the horse, I got right back on and I ended up getting there anyway. Life can be very, very complex. There's a lot of distractions, a lot. But when you get laser focused about what you want to do and you make it a priority, there is literally no bounds to what you can accomplish. There isn't. Someone shared one of my coaches. Her name's Lee, and she was at the meeting I was at in Atlanta, and she's an amazing woman, and she said that her dad told her one thing, that you can be anything in this world but average. And she is anything but average. But to think about that, makes goal setting a little bit easier. And the great thing about it is, if 92% of people fail, if you stack up some days in a row, you're on your way to not being average. You're actually really far to not being average. And there again, I don't think anybody wants to be average, but it is a matter of, can I focus in on what's important, on what's going to take me from average to not average? Can I focus in each day and get that figured out?